Well, that's something that I'm wanting to explore a little bit more. Is an interesting manifestation occurred about 5 months ago. Being came into our community that was giving a lot of relief and soothing, and I 2 months ago went and saw the channel and was having experiences very similar to those individuals. And over a series of a few weeks, once a week, it ultimately accumulated into a very strong expression from that channel and the being that a very long-held desire to, in a way, just off this last segment, the concept of, you said that we are part of the leading edge of thinking beings, and for instance the musician was part of the leading edge of emotional beings, and there's a very strong desire throughout my life to be part of the leading edge of thinking beings.
But you can't help it. You can't go back. In other words, you will never ever be able to cease being that. Once you've tasted it and once you've enjoyed the alignment with it, you will never find satisfaction stepping back from the leading edge. It's not something that you have to accomplish in terms of assigning a rigorous schedule or regimen. It's something that your emotions that now you're in touch with will always point out to you. In other words, you know too much to ever return to lethargy or to less sensitivity or to less dynamic leading edge. Every now and again someone will say to Esther, if you would just knock the Abraham stuff off a little bit and just teach what Abraham has taught, that the world is out there ready for it in the way that the world has embraced the secret and so on. And Esther always replies, we are not looking for a big group. We are thrilled with this leading edge experience that is happening in every nearly moment of our life experience. Once you've tasted it, you cannot step back from it. And it's what everyone was born to live, you see. And the closer you are to it, and the more you embrace it, and the more you align with it, and the more you see the manifestational evidence of it, then the more you must be it. Then all that you are becomes on a more consistent basis all that you are. Yes.
And it's that blending that seems to be happening between thinking and feeling, and so much has been taught to all of us and myself about feeling that I'm trying to understand. In fact, just on this last little bit, I had the thought of what would it be like with this inside the vortex if we were having sessions where it's not about coming into the vortex, but we're all here figuring out how we can milk it and take it further inside.
That's what the rampages are, and we get there in every segment several times and stay there longer, especially on a gathering like this, where you've literally carved this time out of your life in order to experience this, so you're more relaxed. You've left more of your responsibilities elsewhere and are sort of in this position where you are reaching for it. But it is an individual thing, and the sooner you make it an individual thing, the more often you experience it, because whenever you try to round a group up, there is always a renegade.
It's that individual thing that was kind of an interesting manifestation. And besides all the other amazing, wonderful manifestations are going on, this was surprise and delight unusual. And the being channel entities ultimately wanted a connection between me and the channel. In other words, I could try to describe this. I very much appreciated always you, Jerry, and Esther, and that triad. And there was something being presented of a similar nature, of a triad. And I knew aspects of it were off, so going to the last person in the hot seat, it was like a bridge. It felt very good. I enjoyed it, but there were things that were not really lined up, but there were some things that were really satisfying. So that whole concept of thinking is something I wanted versus what I really wanted, And
Well, we just want to say softly to you, when something feels off for you, it is.
And it was easy to know that, but it
Yes.
was also part and parcel with that, something that's been a held desire for about 7 years. And that was, in fact, I came up with these words yesterday morning, is that I am at a point where I really I'm really curious what my larger 95%, my inner being has in store. And I feel like I'm more and more in touch with that. And this was a really wonderful manifestation. It was a little off, and I enjoyed it. But
Well, the nice thing about creation is that what we've been emphasizing, and you've been hearing it through all of the dialogue here today, it's come up several times, is that when you understand the vortex and what it is, and you position yourself in relationship to it by just wanting to prepare yourself vibrationally in a way that it can call you, so that it's inspiration into who you are rather than motivation into who you are, then once you get that squared away so that you really understand that, then you can just begin moving through life experience, because there's never anything. In other words, if you think that what's being inspired feels good, and so you follow it, if it's not in alignment with who you are and everything that you want, you won't be able to maintain that feeling. That's what we were talking about earlier when we were saying that one who's connected to this energy of who you really are is more influential and more powerful than millions who are not. So you're being called inside your vortex. You're not being called inside someone else's vortex. You're being called to fulfill who you are. And certainly there's a lot of co-creating that goes on. So what we're really saying to you is, don't worry about making wrong steps, because you're sensitive enough that you will feel it as it is unfolding. And as it is unfolding, it may very well be satisfying much that is there. And remember, you never stop defining either. You're constantly defining what you want from where you stand. It's an ongoing thing. And just don't try to make it right or wrong, cut and dried.
And for the most part, I don't. But
yes.
Understandably, in this new co-creation with my wonderful wife, this is, speaking of always new, those are like the trickiest relationships. Her knowing, my knowing, another being's knowing. This also is related to a question I've had for a while: is where are the boundaries of love? In other words, others can kind of put it in black or white. Let us just
say this to you. The questions that you're asking are clear indications that you're not speaking from inside the vortex.
Right.
And it's that vortex that is the boundary that we would be reaching for.
But if I feel the vortex in something, but the person, not the person, my higher connection is my first connection. But then the second most important connection is maybe a little bit off on certain things. It's like the last person that was in the hot seat. It's like, oh, he was feeling that, some of it was right on, and you gave him this new realization, which was beautiful, of it's what you think was right, but there's something even more and more. And you even said it in the earlier thing, allow, but it's...
Well, here's the thing. Can you feel, and we'll ask them, can you feel that you're trying to figure something out from not inside the vortex? And so we could spend a long time talking about it, and you're not going to find satisfaction about it yet. So give it a little time, let it percolate a little more, let the seminar evolve a little more, let us get more out here on this leading edge. The timing of your question fit right into this, just in the right place. And so we wanted to follow your lead and allow the question to present itself. But now let's just leave it where it is and understand. Let's define the question a little more clearly. So, Abraham, I get it that I've been putting things into my vortex for a very long time, and recently I have been attracted to something that I didn't really know was in there. And it seems to clash with some other things that I have known are in there, and now I don't know what to do. And isn't that pretty well said? And we want to say the vortex will sort it out. You don't have to, and when you try, it will make you nuts.
Yeah.
So now your work is just to relax, get general. Things always work out for me. I don't have to make any decisions this red hot minute. I like it when I feel an impulse towards something. That means there is some value for me. I'm always in the process of defining what I'm wanting. Good things always come from definition. I embrace and applaud all contrast that comes to me, great or small, because it helps in the expansion and in the clarity. I look forward to clarity on this subject. I know that it's there for me. I know that I'm a continuing, expanding being, and I'm sensitive to vibration, and I'm glad that I don't have to make any really definitive decisions right now, because I'm not ready to do that. And I know that when I am ready, that they will come easily, and I will happily and patiently wait for that time, which means I'm happy where I am and eager for more.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
How are you? Doing extremely well. Someone we're feeling, there you are.
Thank you. Hi.
We are.
I really like it when you say that every point of consciousness in the universe is selfishly oriented.
Every point of consciousness in the universe is selfishly oriented.
Thank you.
We like it when you say it too.
I've heard from other philosophies that a person suffers because he has a desire to receive for the self only. And when he enters spirituality, he learns to receive in order to give. So I'm struggling a little bit with these concepts because I don't really understand what it is that I receive and what it is that I give and who do I give it to. So could you help me to understand what it means to give and to receive from an energy point of view with every desire that we have?
Not only from an energy point of view, but everything that backs it up as well. It was a beautifully articulated question from a lot of contemplation and life experience. So here's how it works. First, we want to make a general and blunt statement that when you acknowledge the larger part of who you are, and you take the time to align with it, in our terminology, so you are living life primarily from inside the vortex, then, because you're connected to that powerful stream of well-being, you have something to give. If you don't take the time to line up, then you don't have anything to give. And so that's why we say you have to be selfish enough to care how you feel. You have to be selfish enough to tend to your own vibration, because there are so many people who see people in need and who leave the vortex as they focus upon their plight or problem. And outside the vortex, even though they want to help, their help is minuscule because they are not aligned with the energy that creates worlds, and they have nothing to give. Where if that individual could be selfish enough to withdraw their attention from what holds them out of the vortex, and selfish enough to reach for the improvement that they're reaching for. You see, every person that you know and love and want to help who has a problem already has a solution to that problem in the vortex. And if you are not selfish enough to align with the solution, you have nothing to give. It puts selfishness in a whole new light, doesn't it?